You walk into a room where clothes are scattered, dishes are piling up, and things feel out of place. Most people jump to one quick judgment. This person is messy. But psychology tells a much deeper story, one that's often misunderstood. Now here's the truth most people don't realize. A messy home is rarely just about the home. It's about what's happening internally. For many people, clutter is a reflection of mental overload. When your brain is juggling too many thoughts, worries, and responsibilities, something has to give. And often, it's your environment. Cleaning requires focus, decision-making, and energy. If your mind is already exhausted, even small tasks can feel overwhelming. So things get postponed. Then postponed again, until chaos quietly builds up. But it doesn't stop there. Some people live in messy spaces because they're dealing with emotional weight. Anxiety, depression, or even long-term stress can reduce motivation in ways that outsiders don't understand. It's not that they don't see the mess, they do. It's that they don't have the emotional energy to deal with it. What looks like carelessness from the outside can actually be silent. Exhaustion from the inside. And then there's something even more interesting. For certain individuals, mess isn't a problem at all, it's a preference. Studies have shown that some creative minds actually function better in slightly disorganized environments. Their brain doesn't see clutter as distraction, but as stimulation. It sparks ideas, connections, and unconventional thinking. That's why you'll often find artists, writers, and innovators working in spaces that look chaotic to others, but perfectly normal to them. Still, not all mess is the same. There's a difference between creative clutter and avoidance clutter. Creative clutter is controlled chaos. There's a system behind it, even if it doesn't look like one. But avoidance clutter, that's when things pile up because they're being ignored, not because they serve a purpose. And that's where psychology becomes important. Avoidance clutter is often tied to decision fatigue. Every object in your home represents a choice. Keep it, throw it away, organize it, or ignore it. When your brain is already overloaded, making these decisions feels like a burden. So instead of choosing, you avoid. And that avoidance turns into accumulation. Another surprising factor is identity. Some people don't clean because they don't feel in control of their life. When someone feels stuck, whether financially, emotionally, or socially, they may stop investing effort into their surroundings. The logic becomes unconscious. Why bother fixing my environment if everything else feels broken? So the mess becomes a reflection of a deeper sense of helplessness. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your environment also shapes your behavior. A messy home doesn't just reflect your mental state, can also reinforce it. Clutter increases stress levels, reduces focus, and even affects sleep quality. It becomes a cycle. You feel overwhelmed, so you don't clean. And because you don't clean, you feel even more overwhelmed. And breaking that cycle isn't as simple as just clean your room. Real change starts with understanding. When you recognize why the mess exists, you can begin to address the root cause, not just the surface. For example, the issue is mental overload. The solution isn't to clean everything at once. It's to start small. One corner, one drawer, one step at a time. Because each small action sends a signal to your brain. I'm regaining control. The issue is emotional exhaustion. Then self-care becomes more important than perfection. Cleaning doesn't have to be flawless, just has to be enough to create a sense of relief. And if the mess comes from avoidance, then simplifying decisions can make a huge difference. Instead of asking, what should I do with all of this? Ask simpler questions like, do I use this? Or does this add value to my life? Because at the end of the day, your home is not just a physical space, it's a psychological one. It reflects your habits, your emotions, your mindset, and even your identity. So the next time you see a messy house, whether it's yours or someone else's, pause before judging. There might be a deeper story behind it. A story of stress, creativity, struggle, or even silent battles no one else can see. And maybe, instead of criticism, what's needed is understanding.